In the Kishkindha Kandam, when Sugriva, after getting a very, very tough, cold reminder from Rama through Lakshmana about his promise that needs to be kept. In those days, if you don't keep up your promises, especially election promises, you will be court-martialed. So Sugriva one fine day said, I will help you. But there seemed to be no help. That is when there was a reminder sent, and then he had to dispatch his Vanaras in different directions. When the Vanaras were traveling west, so I have to explain Yaadavaabhyudayam, but I'm just telling you. So when Sugriva is slightly tilted towards the southwest direction in India from Kishkindha, he sent a set of Vanaras in the west direction. So that will be slightly to the west and northwest. Correct? When you tilt yourself slightly southwest, then your west will become the southwest and northwest will become your west. Correct? So he has to send his set of Vanaras in that direction. When you read the Ramayana, if you have time, go read the Moolam, you will find what all places. He says Sindhum, the river Indus, where it meets the ocean. So he talks about the region from lower Punjab of Pakistan to Karachi. That is the place where Indus meets the Arabian Sea. Then he says you go further. Then he says you will see a lot of hills. That must have been the region in Afghanistan. After you cross that, you will come across the land of Persia. There he says you will see a lot of lions which are flying in nature, flying lions. Now, well, in my current book in 2026, you will see, I believe they were not flying lions. They were lions that used to jump like the horses. Parakkum rail, abdina enna parakarada. It will have, see in Bombay, monorail, there's one thing, network called monorail. Parakkum rail, where is that? It will have a base. It means it is slightly higher than what you think. In the ancient Sumerian and later the Persian civilization, they believed that there were creatures called lions with wings like birds. So it was a mythical creature, like how we see Yali in Dakshina Bharatam. So beyond that, he talks about a region called a desert. That must have been the Syrian desert. Then he says you will see elephants of a certain variety. Those must have been the extinct species of the Syrian elephants. So Syria used to have elephants. We often think that elephants exist from Bharatadesham, Lanka, Myanmar, Thailand and Southeast Asia. They lived even in Syria, but they got extinct. It is a species called the Syrian elephants. Then he says Pragjyotisha Pure. Is it boring? No, okay. So Pragjyotishapuram, what does it, where do you come across Pragjyotishapuram? Where do you come across that? Narayani. Which Charitram? Very good. Narakasura Vrittantam in Bhagavatam has the word Pragjyotishapuram. We are often told that the Pragjyotishapuram that Narakasura kind of reigned, must have been the current day Assam, a home, we say. But some research scholars think that it must have been Thailand. Because Pragjyotishapuram means where there is always burning light, which means place with active volcanoes. So active volcanoes must have been around the Thailand region because ancient maps call that region as Dwaravati. So that is where, whenever there are active volcanoes, those countries with excess active volcanoes will not engage in deep mining because all the minerals will come out. So it is very easy for that country, they don't have to spend a lot on mining. Okay. Now Indonesia, parts of Thailand, they all don't have to mine a lot because all of it will be found on earth. Now he talks about a Pragjyotishapuram West. That Pragjyotishapuram, in my research, must have been the part of Egypt, some parts of Chad, some parts of Ethiopia. Recently, 2-3 months back, you must have come across a volcanic eruption in this part of Africa. You remember? I personally believe it must be that Pragjyotishapuram that Sugriva is referring to. Then he says you have to go further west. So you have to go north of Nigeria to a place called Morocco. In Morocco, he says in Morocco you will come across a mountain where you will see the sunset. It is called as Astagiri. That Astagiri is the hill that very much borders the Atlantic Ocean in Morocco. And that is called the Atlas mountain, if you've heard of it. So that is the Astagiri. And exactly Astagiri is 90 degrees west of Hampi. So Udayagiri is Udayagallu in Fiji Islands, 90 degrees east, 90 degrees west. So Sugriva's knowledge was 180 degrees of Mother Earth. So the other 180 degrees, US, Canada, South America, and very importantly Greenland, all that doesn't fall under his radar. So he had no knowledge of that because there is huge oceanic body that separates us. We have North Atlantic and South Atlantic here. There we have to some extent some parts of Eastern Pacific Ocean. So that separates. So this is the 90 degrees. There, why I told you this is, there is a reference to this region in a way. He doesn't say, no, you should not end up doing a Google search, Egypt. He would have not called it Egypt. Even in the Persian records, it's called Misr. This region is called Misr, not Egypt. In the current day Tamil script, we say Egypt. That is because we have a way of saying it in Tamil. It doesn't mean all our acharyas refer to this land as Egypt manne, nannu maname, Egyptil pirand. No Alvar sings of Egypt. Okay, they restricted themselves largely to Bharatadesham. But of course, Ramayana times it is said. So we are in that region. Point number one. First I have to tell you where the reference is. Correct? Many people will keep asking you. One. Now coming to Yaadavaabhyudayam. Now Vedanta Desika, interestingly, I have to cover a few shlokas because I am trying to explain his poetry. Then I will go back to the story. Vedanta Desika was somehow very attached to horses. I don't know why. Thirumangai Alvar says, Parimugamai aruliya nam paraman kanmin. Parimugam means that Bhagavan who took the face of a horse. Haya mukham, vaji vaktram, vaji raja, vagisha, Hayagriva, the neck of a horse, which is Hayagriva. So he was extremely attached to Hayagriva, that particular avataram. His famed shloka, Jnananandamayam Devam, Nirmalas Pratikakritim, Adharam, Sarva Vidyanam. While telling this shloka, I will give you another anecdote. So in December, I was in Tirunelveli for lecture. So that was my first lecture, my debut lecture in Tirunelveli. And the organizer said, after your lecture is done, people will come and meet you. One girl wants to meet you. I said, anybody is welcome. So there were pictures, selfies and all of that. And then, more than the duration of the lecture will be this photo session. One girl, she was dressed in chudidar and then she came in front of me and then she said, Swami, I am Vishalini. I said, nice name. That's the cliched thing, right? Anybody, whatever name they say, we have to say it's a good name. So, good name. Then she said, she showed me her profile. So, she has got an IQ of 225. So, she has been tested by multiple agencies across the world for her IQ. She has intense and immense memory power, which we all keep praying, right? We should have memory. Look at her 225. We may not even get into 2 digits. So, she has got 225 is her memory power. And she is working with the central government on various projects that can help detect early autism. So she's been doing, and she's been recognized well. You can see her profile. I told her name because this is something to be very proud of. Otherwise, most newspapers will say, sources revealed that a certain person. Only if it's a crime, you don't have to tell the name. This is something to be proud of. Vishalini, she has got, you can check her on Wiki page also. Now, she comes from a Shaiva Pillai background. She doesn't come from an Iyengar family. Shaiva Pillai. She said while she was very young, she was taken to Tiruvahindrapuram to Hayagriva Asthanam, because in Tiruvahindrapuram you have Devanatha Swami below, and above the hillock which stands opposite you have got Hayagriva. So she went to that Sannadhi as a little girl. Her mother took her as usual, because you have to do your exams well, and Hayagriva has to write our exam, right? Our pen will be kept, Hayagriva's race will fall within that Reynolds pen and he has to write. So you will take one Dabur honey, 200 grams, and one cardamom mala, and you will go. So Hayagriva has to do the rest of that exam. So the parents took her, and the priest started Jnanananda. She said she completed the rest of the verse. She said, I don't come from a Brahminical family. I don't come from a Vaishnava family. I am a Shaiva Pillai, born and raised in Tirunelveli. I have no idea who Vedanta Desika is. I have no idea who Hayagriva is. But the moment the priest uttered the first 3 words, I completed the rest of the verse. From then on, she says, you can check, she says, every day when she is on a project to take up an IQ test, Vedanta Desika appears in her dream. And he guides her how the project should be done. So, how divine grace manifests itself and goes to different quarters. So, Vedanta Desika is not an Iyengar's only Acharya. Hayagriva is not a Vaishnava's only Bhagavan. So, to describe the universality of Sanatana Dharma, what more an example do you need? So Vedanta Desika was extremely attached to Hayagriva. 2 things. 2 Mahakavyams he did. One on Padukas called Paduka Sahasram. The other Mahakavyam called Yaadavaabhyudayam. In the Paduka Sahasram, 30th Paddhati called Chitra Paddhati, he describes the movement of a knight on a chessboard. I have told this in multiple lectures of mine. It is called Chaturanga Turanga Bandham. Chaturangam is chess. Turanga is horse, because a knight is a horse. So how it moves on a chessboard? Because a knight can move only 3 spaces. But it cannot take 3 spaces on one line in a straight fashion. It can do 2-1 or 1-2. But it can do Vishnuhu Sarvato Mukhaihi. See, in a Shraddham, when you have 3 people whom you have invited, if you are doing Shraddham, all this is if. If you do, and if at all you invite 3 people, and if at all 3 people turn up for the Shraddham, the 3rd person is called Mahavishnu in a Shraddham. Vishnuhu Sarvato Mukhaihi. For the other 2, you have to check the direction in which the banana leaf is placed. For Vishnu alone, you can place it in any direction. This is the Shraddham rule. Similarly, on a chessboard, a knight can move in any direction. It is at the end of the day Hayagriva, right? It can move in any direction. Mahavishnu Sarvato Mukhahi. But it can move only 3 spaces. Rahasya Trayam. It can move only 3 spaces. So Vedanta Desika solves the knight's tour problem in Paduka Sahasram. But how will the horse walk? It has a hoof. Correct. That hoof will have a shoe. Even if you go to the Niagara Falls, more people say, more than watching the falls from the American side, it looks all the more beautiful from the Canadian side. They want it, that is why. So, on the Canadian side, it is very beautiful. It will have the shape of a horseshoe, if you remember. So, its horseshoe is called Kuram. Ashwa Kuram. Kuram is that hoof. So, it will be like this, if you can see. You can see my Thiruman. Take one this side, put a mirror image the other side, and do a connector in the middle. Correct? You're able to get the shape of a hoof now. One like this, and a connector in the middle. It is called Kura Bandham in poetry. The poem will be written like a Kuram. Now Vedanta Desika pays his tribute to the horse through Chaturanga Turanga Bandham in Paduka Sahasram. He pays tribute to the horse through Kurabandam in Yaadavaabhyudayam. So his attachment to horses has been there. Just that his knowledge-wise attachment was to the horse. Not telling number 13, come on, come on, come on. Not that morning horse. Odu, 13, number 13, run. No, not that horse. So he was never on the race. Okay, his coursework was only on the horse. Now, this is the shloka. Now, look at how this paddhati works. This Kurabandam is very interesting. I told you there is a shape like this, and a connector in the middle. So the connector word is Sabhajanam. Sabhajanam. Now I'll tell you what is there upwards. Vadam yetat gavyaihi sara sabhajanam. I will read out the verse first. Sabhajanam vadam yetat gavyaihi sarasabhajanam. See, you're able to get how he is splitting the word. Ahobilam, have you heard of it? Yes. Have you heard of Hari? Not the English. Hari. Hari, Hari, correct? Kari, Priya Kari. Now, how will you split? Ahobila, Hari Priya Kari. You are the one. You're looking at Mahalakshmi and you're telling, oh Mahalakshmi, you are the beloved of the Hari from Ahobilam. Ahobila, Hari Priya Kari. Correct? How will you split it otherwise? Aho, Bila Hari Priya Kari. Aho bila hari priyakari, aho bila hari priyakari, bila hari priyakari. So, how do you split? Similarly, sabhajanam. Correct. Now, if you add the word sara before, sarasa bhajanam. Now, how does Vedanta Desika say? He says, sabhajanam vadam yetat gavyaihi sara sabhajanam. Then again begin with sabhajanam. Sabhajanam girer arthyam swavrutyullasa bhajanam. Now that sa is taken to that. So he describes it in a kurabandam. So how a hoof goes. See, this mastery in poetry is something that we can't even fathom. Because when we just see, look at the word Malayalam, oh, when you write it left to right, right to left, same word. Here, the patterns that they give describe the greatness of the poet. So this is one verse. Sabhajanam vadamyetat gavyaihi sarasabhajanam sabhajanam girerarthyam swavrutyullasa bhajanam. Now the poetic beauty is over. What does he say? Oh, my dear people of Vrajabhumi, we all need to walk towards the Govardhana Parvatam carrying different food varieties because we have to offer that to the hill. So they are all going. Now he tells his father, Sahasa sahasaurthyarma tarase tarasevanam tanutata nudadvarjri nagato na gatorchatam. Now, Father, the one that needs to be worshipped is this hill that is nourishing and protecting us, not Indra who's carrying Vajra in his hand. Now he is going to make Indra very angry in a few minutes from now. Now he tells his father, Bahuvidbhyaha samagrahi matistvaya atonya jana samdigdhe na sandigdhe hita hite. So now he does a very typical good speaker dialogue. After telling all this to his father, he says, Father, you have acquired knowledge from different scriptures. Nandagopa, me? You have acquired knowledge, distilled knowledge from so many scriptures, Father. Can't you understand what I am saying? Which means you have to understand, because he has praised him so much. He has to understand. Now, Govardhana Prakashinya, Govardhana Samakhyaya, Samekshepi Girerasya, Samakshepi Kshamastuti. Beautiful word. Now, he says, true to its name. What is the mountain called? Govardhanam. So, Go is what? cattle-like, bovine-like. So this hill should nourish the Gokulam, the community of cows and calves. So he says, true to its name, saying that the hill nourishes the cattle community, we have to go there, then only it will really mean that we are thankful to that hill which is helping us. For example, what is a cow referred to in Tamil as? Pashu. Oh, very good. So, somebody asked me in Chennai, what are you drinking? I said milk. What milk? Avin milk. They asked which animals? It is there in the name. Avin pal. A is cow. Cow's milk is A apostrophe S, win. You're able to get. Now, but we may not be sure if it is cow's milk. That is a different thing. See, don't go by what is there on the label. Okay. I did one project on milk production. So, in that project, I came to know of a great truth which is hidden to the consumer. The milk is not milked from the cows in one spot. It will be acquired from roughly about 1,000 villages. So one morning, one fine morning or afternoon, the person will milk the cow, and that milk will reach in containers to a central place. Then that will be taken to another place. So there are 3 shiftings that happen. By the time it reaches a dairy, it will be roughly about 9 days. Okay, it will reach. Then they will put all the milk together, test it and pasteurize it. Then they will store it in a container and then packet it on the 16th day. So 20th day, it will be ready on the packets and they will be having the seal ready with them. 21st day, that seal will be there and it will reach our house. We will be assuming that morning 3 a.m. the Gopakumara went to the cow, Shenbagame, he must have taken that milk. No, 21 days, 3 weeks before the milk has been collected. So that is why we are now in search. Now, the same person, same milk, if he uses the word organic on it, it will sell thrice its cost, but it will be the same Avin Paul. Okay, so because anything organic sells more today, right? Even when we say that feeling should be very organic. Somehow we have all become chemistry people, right? All have become benzene fans. You know, benzene comes under organic chemistry because you need carbon and hydrogen to begin with in organic chemistry. And if it is benzene, you need a resonance stabilization because all the bonds, because carbon needs 4 bonds, one will become an unsaturated bond. That is how. Then you resonance, you do it. All have become organic chemistry fans. Organic. Another word is handcrafted. This is a bag which is handcrafted. I am wondering, are all our temples machine crafted? They are also handcrafted. We can't think. This chotu bag, in the kaila or bag kudukra parunga. This is handcrafted. It will be one simple rectangle this side, other rectangle. That man has constructed a temple. You know, Kailashanatha temple in Ellora. That is a unique temple which most historians believe is a monolith. Correct, Vaijayanti ma'am? The entire temple is a monolith. There are no monoliths in the temple. The temple is a monolith. It is a stone, one stone. And where has it been sculpted from? From the top. It was not sculpted from the bottom. Imagine there's a huge hill. You have to sculpt it from the top. Can you even imagine holding one laddu together? See, you make fine powder of rava. Add sugar powder to it, ghee to it. Holding one ball is a task. We touch ghee, we touch milk, and then we hold it together, that will split. This temple is a stone monolith crafted from the top. And it is handcrafted. Compare this handcraft with a small tambulam bag. Handcrafted. Archana weds Arvind. அப்படின்னு எழுதியிருக்கோம் அதில் இல்லையா? ஏதாவது ஒன்று கொடுத்துருவா. அது பெருமாள் ஃபோட்டோ வேறு அதில் ஒன்று இருக்கும்.